Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Savannah Playford, the Director of Youth Ministry at Dixon United Methodist Church. Whenever you are watching this, welcome to today's daily devotion. In last week's devotion, we talked about all of the but firsts that we all experience in our life. I could do my homework, but first I'm going to have a snack and some coffee. I could clean the house, but first I'm going to watch a movie. I could follow Jesus in the church, but first I want to be a little bit more selfish and sin in my own ways for a little bit longer. So how did you do last week with leaving those but firsts behind? Well, regardless of how you did, I have another story to share with you that might inspire you to leave those but firsts behind. Today, I wanted to share with you a story about fishing and fishermen. I myself am not a fan of fishing. It smells bad, it's boring, and the salt water in my hair do not mix well together. I am not a fan. But in biblical times, especially near the Sea of Galilee, fishing was a big deal. It was a big industry that many people were a part of. So let's dive into Mark chapter 1, verses 16 through 20. As Jesus passed alongside the Galilee Sea, he saw two brothers, Simon and Andrew, throwing fishing nets into the sea, for they were fishermen. "Come, follow me," he said, "and I'll show you how to fish for people." Right away, they left their nets and followed him. After going a little farther, he saw James and John, Zebedee's sons, in their boat repairing the fishing nets. At that very moment he called them, and they followed him, leaving their father Zebedee in the boat with the hired workers. You see, in this verse, Jesus is saying to them, "Come, and I will show you how to fish for people." But really what he is saying is, "Come, I want to teach you and I want to love you. So follow me and I will show you a new life." But see here, the second part where he says, "I want to teach you to fish for people," sounds a little weird, but it's actually a really good metaphor. What Jesus is saying is, I want to teach you to fish for people or to help people get closer to me and get into the gospel and realize the truth that we are preaching. So, like I mentioned before, fishing was a big deal back then. People spent a lot of time, energy, and effort into the industry because that was their way of life. That's how they fed each other, and that's how they got their money. So what Jesus is saying is, I will show you how to put your time, energy, and effort into people and improve their lives. Have you ever heard that saying that says, if you give a man a fish, he'll be able to eat for one day, but if you teach a man to fish, he will eat for a lifetime? Instead of Jesus just telling them what they should do, he's inviting them to learn what they should do. He doesn't want their spiritual life to be fed for one day, but for an entire lifetime. So let's talk about how they used to fish back then. Fishermen used to catch their fish by casting out a net and letting the net fall into the dark, deep depths of the water, and then they would pull them up and hope for fish, right? Living out the gospel is the exact same way. We should cast out our nets into the dark, dark waters or unknown territories, and we should lift people out of the dark waters and transform their lives by what we know in the teaching of the gospel. Additionally, we should be like the disciples who put down their nets and left everything immediately. Come, the gospel makes missionaries out of all people. I mean, think about it. For yourself, where are you casting your net? Are you fueling and feeding your spiritual life for a day or for a lifetime? Come, follow Jesus.